Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin. Okay. What I've been hearing ever since that incident happened, what I've been hearing is absolute bullpucky. Thank you, Rachel Maddow, for that vocabulary word. Okay, number one, and this is the most important rule in the whole wide world. You never point a gun at somebody. Ever. You never, ever, ever point a gun at somebody. You never, ever, ever do that. Unless you're going to shoot and kill them. But barring that, you never point a gun at somebody. Rule number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to like 97. You never point a gun. I can't stress this hard enough. You never point a gun at somebody. So this is on him. Rule number 2, you are responsible for every bullet that leaves the barrel of that gun. You are responsible for every bullet that leaves the barrel of your gun. If it goes into a wall, then you have to go fix that wall, that bullet hole. If it goes into a person, you are on the hook for shooting that person. Period. There are no exceptions. There are no, there is no, I didn't know the gun's loaded. That doesn't happen. That's a cartoon. That's a movie. That's a TV show. That's a comedian on stage making a joke. It's not in real life. You have to know. You have to know what's in that gun. Period. There's no excuse for not knowing. Okay? You're totally responsible for this. No ifs, ands, or buts. There's no excuses at all. This is the most responsible thing in the world. Because, you saw the results. Somebody got shot and somebody died. There's nothing more serious than that. It goes like this. If you have, one person has a handgun, and for whatever reason, they want to hand that gun to another person. Okay, first of all, you pull out the magazine. That's the thing that holds all the bullets. You pull that out, and you check the chamber. You clear the chamber. In other words, one bullet, this is the gun, the magazine is in here, and there's the chamber. Now, you can chamber around, which means if you pull the trigger, out it goes. If you don't chamber around, you pull the trigger, nothing happens because there's no bullet there. That's why they go to chamber around. Or with the 12 gauge, that chambers the round. So what you do is the person holding the gun takes out the magazine, checks the chamber, makes sure there's nothing in the barrel. They check it again. They look, they check the magazine, they make sure there's nothing in there. They check it like 3 times. And then they hand the magazine to the next person. They hand the gun with the barrel pointing down. And they hand it to the person. The person who gets the gun, they look inside to make sure the magazine's not there. They check the chamber a bunch of times. Okay? Then they put the gun in a holster or on a table or whatever, and they do not put the magazine in the gun. Why would you put it in there? Are you going to shoot anything? You're not going to shoot. If you're going to shoot something, then you put it in. That's like if you're a police officer or a soldier, you would chamber it, But if you're on a film set, first of all, if you're on a film set, why are you losing live ammo? There should not be live guns on a film set. They should all be dummy guns because they're for dummies. Actors are not gun smart people. Maybe some are, But for the most part, as you can see, the proof is in the pudding. They're dummies. So, what does that tell us? There was no gun smart people on the set. 0. So they're all culpable for this accident. They're all culpable. There should not have been live rounds. There shouldn't have been live guns. They could have gotten fake ones that look real. There's plenty of those. Even blanks. Blanks are like real bullets. They don't shoot a real projectile, but if you shoot a blank at somebody at like 2 feet away, you can hurt them. So even blanks, you do that in post. You have a fake gun, you go, and in the post they add the sound effect. So it goes bang, bang, bang. That's making movies, right? I mean, that's the easiest, why not? Why do that? Why do you have real guns and live ammo in loaded guns on a movie set? That is a recipe for disaster, and they have one. So the bottom line is, they are all culpable. They're all responsible. America, anything less than that is baloney. And they're running from the truth. They're trying to stay away from that. They don't want they don't want to admit they're responsible. Alec Baldwin is entirely 100% culpable for a murder. Now, it may not be first degree or second degree. Maybe it's some sort of manslaughter or something. But he took a life with a gun out of ignorance. And that's the truth. You don't... This is why gun people say guns don't kill people. People kill people. See, they're not trying to be foolish. It's the honest to God truth. People who don't know what the hell they're doing, like the guys that go like this, that's, you don't shoot a gun like that. That's crazy. In fact, if you're holding a gun, let's say you're a police officer, let's say you're someone who has to have a gun in their hand as a part of it for a legitimate reason. When you're holding a gun, you do not put your finger on the trigger. It's like this. You don't put your finger on the trigger until you're going to shoot. Because why? Because if your finger's wrapped around the trigger, you might shoot accidentally. You might bump so you don't even put your finger on the trigger of a loaded gun when you are a cop or when you're a serviceman, because you might accidentally shoot somebody, the wrong person, or maybe the guy's innocent, or whatever. You don't want to make a mistake and shoot someone by mistake. So even in that situation, you're not primed to shoot, to discharge your weapon. Gun safety is a serious thing, and there are a set of fail-safes to keep people around guns safe. And all the people on set who are dealing with the guns are all culpable. Any of the prop people, whatever. What should have happened is, the minute anyone knew that there was live guns and live ammo on the set, they should have gotten their cars and gone home and called their agents and say, what the fuck? Sorry. I mean, what the... Blah, blah. That's what should have happened. So I'm sorry, Mr. Baldwin. Sorry, but you have no excuse. You have no excuse. You don't put, even if it's a toy gun, a realistic gun, a copy gun, imitation gun, whatever, you never, ever, 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 ever point a gun at somebody. Never. And this goes for everybody else, by the way, not just him. Anyone out there, you never point a gun. If someone points a gun at you, move your hand and say, hey, and if they don't get it, if they don't get the logic behind it, leave. That person is not safe. That person's an idiot. You don't ever point a gun at someone. And if someone, you don't ever leave a gun lying around with bullets in it. Never. You clear the chamber, you remove the magazine. A gun lying around has no bullets, ever. Unless you're in the army or a police officer or a detective, or you have some sort of reason like that. But if you just have a gun home for protection, how often do you use your gun? Probably, maybe never, right? And gun safety in the home, you get 2 safes. The gun goes in one safe, the bullets and the magazines go in another safe. That way, the kids can't, if you have kids in the house, this way nobody gets hurt. Now, if it's just you and you're alone, you live alone, or it's just you and your wife, or you and your husband or your partner, you can make different arrangements, but the gun should be locked up. And you can make you can leave the magazine out. Don't chamber the round, leave the magazine out so that if you pick up the gun, it doesn't automatically fire. You have to put the magazine in and chamber around before you can shoot. So you have a minute before you do something stupid, because once you shoot, you're responsible for that bullet. Even if you're hitting a bad guy, you're responsible for putting a bullet in that bad guy. And if you kill the bad guy, you're responsible for killing the bad guy. Now you're the criminal. That's how that happens. Now you're the murderer. The bad guy is the victim. That's a sticky situation. And you want to be careful. You may not want to go there. Investigate non-lethal ways of protecting yourself. Because if you shoot somebody, you're going to need a really good lawyer and tens of thousands of dollars to get off. It's not pretty. It's different in the movies, but in real life, you're the criminal. They're the victim. And these bad guys, they've been through the system. They know the ins and outs of the system. They will screw you over. Because they've been criminals before. They've been locked up before. They've been in court before. You have no idea what the hell that's about to come down on you. And they know how to work you and how to work the system. You will be, you don't want to get into that. Get yourself some real powerful pepper spray and, a pellet gun or a paintball gun that shoots, pepper balls or whatever. Get some really powerful non-lethal defense weapons. Because if you really jack somebody up and they go to the hospital, you hurt them. They are the victim now, and they will twist your life around, and your life will never be the same. And you don't want to go, and all you're doing is defending yourself, but it's not going to read that way in court. And their lawyer is going to twist you into a pretzel. So you got to be careful with guns. Guns are, they're very, you have to be more than careful. In fact, don't get one. Is the best advice. Don't get one. Don't have one. Because it requires a great deal of responsibility that most of us are probably not up to handling. That's how serious it is. There are some people who are very capable of dealing with it. Most of the people you see who are very capable of dealing with guns are ex-army people or have retired from the police force. These are people who are very, very capable of being very responsible. If you're a brand new person, you've never handled a gun before, and you go to the gun store, don't buy it, because these people who have guns have had guns for the last 30 years, and they know what's happening. They know how to take them apart, put them back together again, how to oil them, how to clean them, and that's stuff you have to do with guns. And just don't even get one, because the learning curve is too steep, and the chance for something bad to go wrong is the possibility is too much, as Mr. Baldwin found out. And he can't get away from that. And if his lawyers figure out some way to get him out of that, that's kind of fucked up, because he took a life, and and whoever was the gun wrangler on that set was a very unqualified person. I don't know, and so the director, the producer, all those people, you don't go low budget on something like that. You get qualified people, obviously, but maybe not obviously. So that's my rant on that. Tune in another time for the next one. I think it's going to be on COVID. I have some very disturbing things to tell you about that. Okay, bye.